I watched the security footage in disbelief. Karen Thompson, our HOA president, had just thrown my 5-year-old daughter Maya off a bridge into freezing water. Maya's leg braces made swimming impossible. Karen didn't know she'd just attacked the chief minister's child. Her revenge was about to begin. Before watching full story, comment below from watching, also like and subscribe for more stories. The morning sun painted golden streaks across Riverton's quiet streets. Children's laughter echoed from backyards while sprinklers watered perfect lawns. This peaceful town looked like a postcard, but beneath its charm lurked something darker that would soon shatter our lives forever. My name is Arjun Singh. To my neighbors, I was just another office worker who left early and returned late in a simple sedan. They waved politely, commenting on weather or weekend plans. Nobody suspected I was the chief minister of our state. I chose this anonymity deliberately after receiving death threats during my first year in office. Politics brought danger, assassination attempts, media harassment, security protocols that turned homes into fortresses. I wanted my family to live normally, to breathe freely without bodyguards watching their every move. My wife Priya was 8 months pregnant, her belly round with our second child. She glowed with motherhood, though exhaustion showed in her eyes from sleepless nights and the weight she carried. "This baby kicks like a footballer," she'd laugh, rubbing her stomach during evening walks around our quiet neighborhood. "I think he's going to be trouble, just like his papa." Her smile could light up the darkest room, and even now, heavy with pregnancy, she maintained that beautiful spirit that made me fall in love with her 12 years ago. Our 5-year-old daughter Maya was our sunshine, our miracle, our everything. Born with cerebral palsy, she wore metal leg braces that clicked softly when she walked. The condition made movement challenging, but Maya's spirit soared above any limitations the world tried to place on her. She painted colorful pictures with shaky hands, told elaborate stories to her collection of dolls, and asked endless questions about everything from why the sky was blue to how babies grew in mommy's tummy. "Papa, why do birds fly but I can't?" she once asked while watching sparrows outside our kitchen window. "Because you have different superpowers, Beta. You make people smile just by being you. That's magic the birds don't have." Maya giggled, satisfied with that answer, and continued watching the birds with wonder in her dark eyes. Our neighborhood had strict rules enforced by the Homeowners Association, an organization that seemed to exist solely to make residents' lives miserable. The president was Karen Thompson, a woman everyone called HOA Karen behind closed doors. She was 52, lived alone in a pristine white house at the end of Maple Street, and treated the community like her personal kingdom where she reigned as an iron-fisted queen. Karen had gray hair cut short in a severe bob, wire-rimmed glasses that made her eyes look small and mean, and lips permanently pressed into disapproval. Her husband divorced her 5 years ago after 20 years of marriage, taking their only chance at children with him when he moved across the country. Since then, she poured all her energy and frustration into controlling others, finding purpose in petty power and small cruelties. If your grass grew too long, Karen issued fines. If music played after 9 p.m., she called police. If children laughed too loudly while playing, she marched over with stern warnings about disturbing the peace. She carried a clipboard everywhere, documenting violations with the dedication of a detective investigating murder. I'd noticed her watching Maya with particular distaste whenever we walked past her house. The clicking of leg braces seemed to irritate her more than normal childhood noise. Her face would twist into disgust, as if Maya's very existence offended her sense of order. But I never imagined how deep her cruelty ran, how far she would go to express her hatred for anything different from her narrow view of perfection. Tuesday started beautifully with blue skies and gentle breezes. Priya felt tired from another restless night when the baby kept kicking her ribs, so I suggested she rest while I handled a morning conference call from my home office. Maya played quietly in her room with her toy kitchen, creating elaborate meals for her stuffed animals and narrating their tea parties in her sweet voice. "Mommy needs sleep, but can I play outside in the sunshine?" Maya asked around noon, her face pressed against the living room window where golden light streamed in. Priya, heavy with exhaustion and pregnancy discomfort, nodded from the couch. "Stay in our yard, sweetheart. Don't wander too far." But Maya, being 5 and naturally curious about the world beyond our fence, soon grew bored with our small backyard. The community park called to her with its swings, slides, and most appealingly the old wooden bridge over the creek that ran through our neighborhood. She loved that bridge more than anywhere else, fascinated by the water flowing beneath and the way leaves danced on the current. I was deep in a video conference about state budget allocations, discussing infrastructure spending with legislators, when chaos erupted outside our peaceful home. My office window faced away from the park, so I heard nothing of what was about to unfold. Maya walked to the bridge with her favorite doll clutched in one small hand, her leg braces clicking rhythmically on the sidewalk. She loved the sound they made, like a gentle song that announced her presence to the world. The wooden bridge was about 10 feet high, with railings on both sides that were perfect height for her small frame to lean against safely. Karen was walking Buster, her yapping terrier who seemed to share his owner's perpetually sour disposition, when she spotted Maya on the bridge. The rhythmic clicking of leg braces grated her nerves like fingernails on chalkboard. Her face immediately twisted into that familiar expression of disgust and rage that neighbors had learned to fear. "You there. Get down from that bridge immediately." Karen marched over with quick, angry steps, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. Buster yapped aggressively at her side, as if sensing his owner's hostility. Maya turned, startled by the harsh tone. "Hello, ma'am. I'm just watching the water flow. It's very pretty today." "Don't ma'am me, you little pest. This bridge isn't your personal playground. Those horrible contraptions you wear make too much noise. You're disturbing everyone in the neighborhood with that awful clicking sound." Maya's lower lip trembled as confusion clouded her innocent face. "I'm sorry. I'll try to be more quiet." "Quiet? Look at you, a burden on society with those ugly metal things strapped to your legs. You're defective, damaged goods. Your parents should keep you locked inside where normal people don't have to look at you or listen to that terrible noise you make everywhere you go." The words hit Maya like physical blows, each one designed to wound and humiliate. Tears started flowing down her cheeks as she tried to turn away from the cruel woman, but her brace caught momentarily on the wooden railing, requiring her to carefully free it. Karen's patience snapped completely at this minor delay. "Clumsy freak. I'll teach you to respect your betters and follow the rules of this community." In a moment of pure evil that would haunt my family forever, Karen grabbed Maya's small body with both hands and hurled her over the bridge railing with all her strength. She threw my daughter like she was disposing of garbage, with no thought for the consequences or the precious life she was destroying. Maya's scream pierced the afternoon air as she plummeted 10 feet into the cold creek below. The sound was pure terror, a child's cry for help that would echo in my nightmares for years to come. The heavy metal braces dragged her down immediately into water that was deeper than expected after recent rains. Creek water filled her lungs as she thrashed desperately, unable to swim with the weight of her medical equipment pulling her toward the rocky bottom. Mrs. Chin, an elderly neighbor who had been tending her prize-winning roses, heard the terrible scream that no parent should ever have to imagine. She looked up from her garden to see Karen standing on the bridge, breathing heavily like she'd just finished some strenuous exercise, while Maya's small head bobbed in the dark water below. "Dear God in heaven." Mrs. Chin dropped her gardening tools and ran toward the creek as fast as her 70-year-old legs could carry her. Despite her age and arthritis, she didn't hesitate for a single second. She waded into the cold water and grabbed Maya just as the child went completely limp, pulling her to shore with strength she didn't know she still possessed. Maya coughed up creek water mixed with mud and debris, her lips blue from cold and oxygen deprivation. Her left leg bent at an unnatural angle, clearly broken from the impact. Blood seeped from cuts on her arms and face where she'd hit rocks during the fall. Her breathing was labored and wet, suggesting water in her lungs. Mrs. Chin fumbled for her phone with shaking, muddy hands. 911. "Please, dear God, a child has been thrown into the creek. Send ambulances immediately." Karen realized that witnesses had seen everything, that her moment of rage had been observed by others who could testify against her. Panic replaced the satisfaction she'd felt seconds before as she quickly concocted a lie to save herself. She fell. The disabled child lost her balance and fell before I could catch her. These handicapped children are so unpredictable and clumsy. I tried to grab her but couldn't reach in time. But Mrs. Chin wasn't fooled by the obvious deception. She'd seen the whole thing clearly from her garden. "I saw you throw her, you evil monster. You grabbed that innocent baby and threw her like she was trash." The first call came during my budget meeting with state legislators. A known number. I ignored it, focused on discussing infrastructure spending and highway improvements. The second call made me excuse myself from the video conference. The third call sent ice through my veins and stopped my heart. "Mr. Singh? This is Riverton General Hospital. Your daughter Maya has been admitted with serious injuries. Please come immediately." The conference room seemed to spin around me as panic took hold. What happened to my daughter? She fell from a bridge into water. Multiple injuries including broken bones and possible pneumonia. Your wife is already here and asking for you urgently. I made emergency excuses to confused legislators and raced through traffic, using every chief minister privilege I possessed without revealing my identity to the hospital staff. Police motorcycles that were part of my security detail cleared my path as I broke every speed limit, running red lights and weaving through traffic like a madman. At the hospital, I found Priya collapsed in a waiting room chair, sobbing uncontrollably. Her pregnant belly heaved with each gasping breath, and I could see she was having contractions from the stress. Her face was pale with shock and wet with endless tears. Arjun, our baby girl, that evil woman Karen threw her off the bridge like she was nothing but garbage. The words hit me like a physical assault, making my legs weak. What? Who's Karen? What happened? HOA Karen. That horrible woman who runs the neighborhood association. Mrs. Chin saw everything. Maya was just playing innocently on the bridge, and that witch grabbed her and threw her into the creek for no reason except pure cruelty. I held Priya as she trembled with shock and rage. Where is Maya now? Can I see her? Surgery. Her leg is badly broken from the fall, and they're removing water from her lungs. The doctors say she almost drowned. Arjun. Our little girl almost died because some monster decided she didn't deserve to exist. We waited 3 agonizing hours in that sterile waiting room, watching other families come and go while our daughter fought for her life. During that time, Priya began having stronger contractions. It's too early, she gasped, clutching her belly. The stress and shock. Our baby boy isn't ready to be born yet. A doctor finally emerged, exhaustion and concern written across his face. Maya will recover, but it's been severely traumatic. Fractured femur, mild pneumonia from aspirated water, severe psychological shock. She keeps asking why someone hurt her and what she did wrong to deserve it. Relief mixed with rage in my chest like a toxic cocktail. Maya would live, but someone had tried to murder my child simply because she was different. Someone had looked at my innocent daughter and decided she didn't deserve to exist. Can we see her now? Briefly. She's sedated for pain but conscious and asking for her parents. Maya looked impossibly small in the hospital bed, surrounded by beeping machines and 4 tubes. Her leg was suspended in traction, and oxygen helped her damaged lungs breathe. When she saw us approaching, fresh tears started flowing down her bruised cheeks. Papa, why did the mean lady push me into the water? I wasn't being bad or breaking any rules. My heart shattered into a million pieces at her innocent question. You did nothing wrong, Beta. Absolutely nothing. Some people are just sick inside their hearts. Priya's contractions intensified dramatically as we sat with Maya. Emergency doctors whisked her away for immediate tests. We need to stop this labor immediately, or the baby could die from being born too early. That night became the longest of my life. Maya sedated but whimpering in pain from her injuries. Priya fighting to keep our son safe inside her womb for a few more crucial weeks. And me, burning with fury at a woman who had nearly destroyed my entire family with one act of senseless cruelty. Local police questioned Karen the next morning at her pristine house. She maintained her fiction with an Oscar-worthy performance, playing the concerned neighbor who had tried to help. Officer, it was absolutely tragic. The poor disabled child was leaning too far over the bridge railing. I saw her losing her balance and tried grabbing her to pull her back, but she slipped from my hands before I could save her. These handicapped children often lack proper coordination and spatial awareness. But Mrs. Chen told a completely different story when detectives interviewed her. That evil woman grabbed the little girl with both hands and threw her like a sack of potatoes. I saw it clearly from my garden. There was nothing accidental about it. It was deliberate attempted murder. 2 witnesses with completely opposite accounts. The local police found themselves stuck without additional evidence to determine who was telling the truth. They had to investigate carefully to avoid accusations of bias either way. I could have revealed my identity then, brought the full resources of the state government to bear immediately. But something held me back. Karen didn't know who she'd attacked, didn't understand the full extent of her mistake. I wanted her to feel secure and confident in her lies before crushing her completely under the weight of justice. Over the following days, Maya's physical condition slowly stabilized, but Priya's worsened dramatically. Stress hormones triggered persistent contractions that medication could barely control. Doctors managed to delay labor but just barely. One more major shock and this baby comes whether he's ready or not, the obstetrician warned us grimly. Maya underwent surgery to repair her fractured femur with pins and screws. When she woke up groggy from anesthesia, the heartbreaking questions began that no child should ever have to ask. Papa, am I broken inside because of my leg braces? Is that why she didn't like me? Should I not wear them anymore so people won't get angry? No, sweetheart. You're perfect exactly as you are. Your braces help you walk and be strong. Some people's hearts are broken, not their bodies or their equipment. Meanwhile, I quietly activated my chief minister resources without revealing my identity to local authorities. I contacted the state police commissioner directly from a secure line. Commissioner, I need a thorough investigation into the Riverton Bridge incident. A child was deliberately thrown into water by an adult. Use every resource available and treat this as attempted murder. Yes, sir. We'll handle this personally with our best detectives. Elite state forensics teams arrived in Riverton disguised as insurance investigators looking into liability issues. They discovered crucial evidence the overwhelmed local police had missed completely: a home security camera on a house overlooking the bridge. The homeowner had been visiting relatives out of state and hadn't mentioned the system to anyone. The footage was crystal clear and horrifying. Karen grabbing Maya with obvious intent. The deliberate throw with full force. Maya's helpless fall and desperate struggle in the water. Everything captured in high definition that left no room for doubt or alternative interpretation. Armed with undeniable video evidence, state police arrested Karen at her home 3 days later. She was watering her prize roses when handcuffs clicked around her wrists, the sound making her drop her expensive watering can. This is completely outrageous. I'm president of the HOA. You can't treat me like some common criminal. I have rights and connections in this community. Ma'am, you're under arrest for assault and battery on a minor, reckless endangerment and attempted murder. You have the right to remain silent. Karen's high-priced lawyer arrived quickly, a slick attorney who specialized in defending HOA board members and local politicians. He immediately began attacking Maya's credibility and the circumstances surrounding her presence on the bridge. Your Honor, this was clearly a tragic accident involving a disabled child with known balance and coordination issues. My client attempted a rescue but failed through no fault of her own. Prosecuting a pillar of the community based on one elderly witness's confused testimony is nothing short of persecution. The local prosecutor, completely unaware of my involvement or identity, seemed overwhelmed by the defense's aggressive tactics. Local politics favored Karen, who had built connections throughout Riverton's power structure over her years as HOA president. I watched proceedings from the gallery, anonymous in my simple clothes and baseball cap. Karen glanced at me once during a break, dismissing me as just another curious neighbor drawn by the spectacle of her trial. During this legal battle, Maya slowly healed physically but struggled emotionally with trauma no child should endure. Nightmares plagued her sleep every night. She'd wake screaming about dark water and mean ladies who wanted to hurt her. I don't want to go outside anymore, Papa. What if someone else decides they don't like my braces and tries to hurt me too? Breaking my child's spirit and confidence hurt worse than her physical injuries. She'd been such a brave, outgoing little girl before Karen's attack. Priya fought severe depression alongside her battle against premature labor. It's all my fault, Arjun. I should have watched her closer, never let her wander to that bridge alone. This is Karen's fault alone, I assured her repeatedly. But guilt consumed us both like acid eating away at our peace. Then complete disaster struck despite all medical efforts. Priya went into unstoppable labor at 34 weeks gestation. Our son Aryan arrived weighing only 4 pounds, his tiny lungs struggling for each precious breath as machines kept him alive. Watching him fight for life in the NICU incubator, barely visible among tubes and wires, crystallized my resolve into something harder than diamond. Karen hadn't just attacked Maya, she'd endangered all 3 of my loved ones with her senseless cruelty. The trial's crucial moment arrived when prosecutors screened the security footage for the packed courtroom. Karen's face went white as her crime played before dozens of witnesses. Her lawyer had no defense against clear video evidence showing deliberate violence against a child. But I wasn't finished with her yet. As the prosecutor rested his case, I stood up from my place in the gallery. Your Honor, I request permission to make a victim impact statement on behalf of my family. The judge nodded, not recognizing me. Please state your name for the record, sir. Arjun Singh. I paused, looking directly at Karen's shocked face. Chief Minister of this state. Gasps echoed through the courtroom like thunder. Karen's mouth fell open in disbelief and growing horror. That's completely impossible. He's just some office worker. I've seen him around the neighborhood doing yard work. The bailiff quickly verified my identity with official documentation while news crews outside exploded into frenzied activity as word spread that the state's highest elected official had been personally affected by this case. Miss Thompson, I continued calmly, You attempted to murder the daughter of your state's chief minister. But more importantly, you tried to kill an innocent 5-year-old child whose only crime was existing with a disability in your presence. Karen began hyperventilating as the full implications hit her. I didn't know who you were. If I'd known your position. Exactly. You only show respect based on power and status. Maya deserved protection regardless of her father's position. Every child deserves that protection. The judge imposed the maximum possible sentence: 20 years for attempted murder, aggravated assault on a minor, and hate crime enhancement for targeting Maya's disability. But my revenge extended far beyond criminal court. As chief minister, I ordered a complete forensic audit of Riverton's HOA finances going back 5 years. Investigators discovered Karen had systematically embezzled thousands in community fees for personal luxuries. Civil lawsuits followed immediately. Karen lost her house, car, and life savings to victim restitution and legal fees. The HOA itself was dissolved after a unanimous vote of no confidence from residents who finally understood their president's true nature. 6 months later, Maya took her first steps without leg braces during physical therapy. Tears of pure joy streamed down our faces as she walked independently across the room, her smile brighter than sunshine. Look, Papa. I'm flying like the birds, just like you said I could. Arian grew stronger daily, his premature struggles becoming just a distant memory. He gurgled happily in Priya's arms, completely unaware of the drama surrounding his early arrival into this world. Priya slowly recovered from her depression with professional counseling and medication. I still have nightmares about losing both children, but seeing them healthy and happy helps heal my heart. We decided to move from Riverton to the state capital, where I could serve openly while protecting my family with proper security details. Maya would attend a specialized school that celebrated differences rather than merely tolerating them. On our last day in the old house, Maya wanted to visit the bridge one final time. We walked there together, her new prosthetic leg making almost no sound on the wooden planks. Papa, why did that lady hate me so much when I never did anything mean to her? I knelt to her level, looking into eyes that held wisdom beyond her years. Some people's hearts get sick with anger and loneliness, Beta. They feel mad at the world and take it out on innocent people who remind them of their own pain. But look how many good people helped you, Mrs. Chen, the doctors, nurses, police officers. There are always more good people than bad in this world. Maya nodded thoughtfully, processing this difficult truth. Will she ever get better and stop being so angry? I don't know, sweetheart. But you definitely will keep getting stronger. You're braver than she ever was. 3 years have passed since that terrible day that changed our lives forever. Maya is now 8, confident and happy in her new school where differences are celebrated. She still wears leg braces sometimes but considers them robot legs that give her special powers. Arian is a healthy, rambunctious toddler who adores his big sister with pure devotion. They play together constantly, her patience with his boundless energy seemingly unlimited. Priya returned to teaching and founded a support group for families of children with disabilities. Maya taught me that different doesn't mean less valuable, she tells new parents struggling with difficult diagnoses. I serve openly as chief minister now, often speaking about inclusive policies and strengthened protection for vulnerable populations. Maya's attack influenced legislation that enhanced penalties for disability-based hate crimes. As for Karen Thompson, she remains in prison where she belongs. I visited her once during my 2nd year in office, curious about whether she'd found any redemption. She looked older, grayer, completely broken by the consequences of her choices. Do you hate me for what I did to your family? No. Hate would poison my heart the way it poisoned yours. I pity you because you missed the chance to know my remarkable daughter as a person instead of judging her equipment. Karen nodded slowly, tears flowing down her aged cheeks. I'm sorry. I know it doesn't change anything, but I'm truly sorry for the pain I caused. Tell that to Maya when you're released. She deserves to hear those words from you directly. Sometimes people ask if my revenge went too far, whether Karen deserved such complete destruction for one moment of uncontrolled rage. I think of Maya's terrified screams as she fell toward dark water. Priya's agony during premature labor. Arian's tiny body fighting for life surrounded by machines. The months of nightmares, therapy, and rebuilding shattered confidence. Karen chose to hurt my child because she perceived weakness and difference as threats to her ordered world. She showed no mercy to a 5-year-old with disabilities. Justice demanded consequences that matched the crime's devastating impact on innocent lives. Today, my family thrives in ways that seemed impossible during those dark hospital days. Maya inspires everyone she meets with her resilience, humor, and unshakable joy. That's the real victory, not Karen's punishment, but my daughter's triumph over cruelty. Love conquered hate. Hope defeated despair. And a little girl with leg braces became infinitely stronger than the broken woman who tried to destroy her. That's the story worth telling, the story that matters most.